Help of the Chinese government. Let's bring in Kristie Lu Stout in Hong Kong with the details on this. So a couple of engineering students we're looking at here, but not acting alone, at least according to the FBI.
Yeah, stunning details in this indictment. It says that in the United States, Chinese hackers have been charged for a sweeping cyber espionage and crime campaign that had the support of the Chinese central government in Beijing and was aiming at American COVID-19 research institutions that were looking into coronavirus vaccines and treatments. This is what we know about these charges and the indictments. This was part of a 10-year-long campaign that amassed terabytes of data worth hundreds of millions of dollars. It involved two former AA or electrical engineering students. It's believed that they currently reside in China. We also know that this indictment goes through a stunningly long list of targets, including COVID-19 research firms in the United States from California to Maryland and Massachusetts, as well as hundreds of companies in 10 countries around the world, including an Australian solar energy company, an AI firm in the UK, a Spanish defense contractor, also targeted dissidents and human rights activists in China, the United States, in Hong Kong. In fact, a former Tiananmen Square protester, an email passer is believed to be targeted in this hack. Now, for months now, senior security officials in the United States have been warning that China has been going after, or attempting to go after, COVID-19 research institutions in the U.S. Recently, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs responded to these allegations. Let's bring up the statement for you. This from MOFA spokeswoman Hua Chunying. He said, quote, "The confrontational mindset reminiscent of Cold War will only poison the atmosphere of cooperation, will not be conducive to peace and security cyberspace. Some U.S. politicians seem to be alleging that China is waging cyber attacks to steal U.S. research on COVID-19 vaccines. It is just absurd," unquote. Now, John, that statement was from 4 days ago. Of course, we are awaiting fresh comments. Back to you.
That comment could have been from 12 years ago when I did a story on Chinese hackers, and they said exactly the same thing back then. Because they've always had this relationship with the hackers and the Chinese state government. There's been this sort of grey area where the hackers have sort of freelanced and been considered useful idiots. Connecting them to the state government or to the state, to the actual state itself, in Beijing, that's always been the hard part. So, you know, how do we know the evidence here is supporting this accusation of state-sponsored hacking?
And that is always the question that comes up whenever these strong accusations come out. According to this indictment, U.S. federal prosecutors, they say even though these are two private contractors, private hackers, they say they had the support of Beijing. They said that they worked closely with Chinese intelligence and had contact with one officer in China's Ministry of State Security. Now, we spoke to a number of cybersecurity firms, including FireEye and Mandiant. They say this is how it works, that Chinese cyber warfare operations in the last dozen years or so, they often use mercenary hackers or patriotic hackers, otherwise known as Hong Kong, for the very simple reason as it widens the array of quality hackers that they can bring into their cyber arsenal. Back to you.
Okay, I call them useful idiots. Your expression is nicer, more complimentary. Kristie, thank you. Kristie Lu Stout there live in Hong Kong. Appreciate it. Well.